Hi, Jeff here, and this is our second Q&A for the 2021 online PDC. And our first question comes from Robert. And Robert says, Jeff often talks about adaptive nature of permaculture design, and it can take several iterations, cycles, i.e. years, to massage a design into its ultimate productive state. I don't know about ultimate, because it never really get there. You can always get more, but a pretty good state, I presume you mean. So how is a typical permaculture contract relationship structured? Probably no such thing as typical. They're all a little bit varied, but most of them only go so far. Do we factor in a several year-long relationship, stating with an intentional design, with some frequency of site visits thereafter? When someone is paying us as the expert, how do we manage expectations to let the client know that this is an ongoing process and not a definitive solution? I'm looking beyond every designer needs to figure out what works for them. I'm curious how other people have made things work, or have made these things work. Look, Robert, there's no set system really. You can do it in all different ways, and you can always offer options. Now that's a big word, options, in design. Always offer options. There are all sorts of options. What I do at the moment, and I've done many different things, I initially give an assessment call and say, look, this is the assessment, what I think's possible for you. Does it fit what you want? Do I fit with what you need? If so, we can go on. So I give people an assessment first, often on the phone or on a Skype call or a video call. And then from the assessment, we go, okay, you want to get a design done. So then we do the design. So after the design, their next stage is implementation. They might be okay to go, that might be all they need, but I do offer an option if you want me to guide you through implementation. I'll give you a basic approach that will cover all climates and all species generally, just a general approach to implementation and the way you approach it. But if you want me to direct implementation, I can do that as well. Now it depends how much time and how much money you've got, how long that takes, and how many sequences of iterations I may have to give you to get an implementation finished. But you should get it done in a certain amount of time. So once you've got your implementation done, the next stage I see is establishment. Now that may take 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years, maybe. Depends again how quickly you want to direct it. It then evolves as well. Every system should be allowed to demonstrate its evolution so you can dynamically adjust. That's you and the client, you as the designer and the client as the one that's living through the experience. So you've got this much longer process and it's much more evolving, which is establishment. And there's only one thing to do after that, and that's design the ongoing long-term maintenance. And that gradually fades a bit over time and gets a little bit more refined, and never stops refining and never stops actually gaining a little bit of productivity, as long as you keep observing those evolutions of the site demonstrating its evolutions. So, but you can go about it many ways. The typical thing is people just want you to give them a design and they go and get educated after that. They say, oh, I like this system sounds really common sense. I could do with a little bit of general guidance to how I then implement. Maybe they want direction of earthworks, because that's often first. When you're implementing, it's usually earthworks, irrigation, structural positions, and then living systems. Structural positions and living systems go together. You've got to fence it, maybe you don't. Maybe you've got to fence animals, maybe you've got to put animal housing, etc. before you put the animals in. You've got irrigation always has to come, right? So there's usually irrigation comes after earthworks, then some structures, maybe not all of them, or a lot of them, and then it goes to living systems, and on we go. That's a good sequence. So you can advise that, but people might say, oh, I like this. I'm going to go and get better education. I'm going to go and get better experience. I'll come in and out. Maybe I'll get other people to help me, but you've got me started. So it's never the same. It's always slightly different. If you're doing a big professional contract, laying out a massive system like this huge permaculture park we're doing in Qatar, in the capital city. We're employed as the consultants to the landscape architects, and we're going to go right the way through. But that's a huge professional contract. If you're talking general consultancy, it's definitely a nice communication, should be nice communication between you and the client, what they need, what you can offer, and how long you can keep it going if they want you to.